Okay, we're going to call to order Board of Adjustment, April 28th, 2021. Go to the quasi judicial announcement. Our attorney shall drop some knowledge upon us.
This is a quasi judicial proceeding where the Board of Adjustment acts in a quasi judicial rather than a legislative capacity. At a quasi judicial hearing, it is not the board's function to make law, but rather to apply law that has already been established. In a quasi judicial hearing, the board is required by law to make findings of fact based upon the evidence presented at the hearing and apply those findings of fact to previously established criteria contained in the Code of Ordinances in order to make a legal decision regarding the application before it. The board may only consider evidence at this hearing that the law considers competent, substantial, and relevant to the issues. If the competent, substantial, and relevant evidence at the hearing demonstrates that the applicant has met the criteria established in the Code of Ordinance, then the board is required by law to find in favor of the applicant. By the same token, if the competent, substantial, and relevant evidence at the hearing demonstrates that the applicant has failed to meet the criteria established in the Code of Ordinance, then the board is required by law to find against the applicant. At this point in time, I don't believe that we've done a roll call. Have we?
Oh, you're correct. We
That's
did.
okay. If we go ahead and I'll do that and then I'll
And the
ask for,
swearing in.
I'm sorry.
So then we'll do the roll call, then the swearing in.
No, we'll do the roll call, then I'll ask for ex parte and then we'll do this.
Got it. Roll call, please.
Mr. Rabowski,
Still here.
Ms. Turner. Present. Mr. Burris.
Here.
Mr. Eisner,
Here.
Ms. Rich,
Here.
Mr. Davis, and Ms. Simon are in the audience.
Perfect. Are there any members of the board wishing to disclose any ex parte communications or conflicts of interest this evening? Seeing none. Anyone wishing to speak this evening, if you could please stand to be sworn in. Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. So sworn.
Okay, so then we're going to go directly to application number 21-36, variance to allow a non-conforming lot of record to be built upon. Whitcomb Boulevard. So we go to the city.
Go ahead.
Presentation, please.
Share my screen. There we go. Okay. The subject property is shown here outlined in yellow. It's off of Whitcomb Boulevard. The property, as well as all surrounding properties, are zoned R70, which is a 1 and 2 family zoning district. Looking at the general area, there's a mix of single family and multifamily zoning. The Land Development Code states that if at any time the owner of a non-conforming lot of record owns adjoining land, the lots shall be combined to meet the minimum lot standard requirements. The applicants are here today requesting variance approval to allow a non-conforming lot of record, which is lot 3 shown here on the drawing, that is under common ownership with the adjacent property, which is lots 4 and 5, to be buildable. A little bit of a site history for these properties. Lots 3, 4, and 5 were all originally platted back in 1914 as part of the Orange Heights subdivision. In 1954, a new land development code went into effect, placing these properties in the R1AA zoning district. This district required a minimum lot width of 60 feet. Lot 3 became legally non-conforming at this time because its width is only 54 feet in width. In 1959, the existing home on lots 4 and 5 was constructed. And then in 1990, our current land development code went into effect. They are now in the R70 zoning district. And again, the minimum lot width is still 60 feet. So these lots are still considered non-conforming, or lot 3 is non-conforming. One thing to note is lot 3 does meet the minimum lot area as well as lot depth, just not the lot width. In 2015, lots 3, 4, and 5 were sold and placed into common ownership, which is resulting in the variance request before you today, and that is to determine whether or not lot 3 is buildable as a non-conforming lot of record. And the applicants are looking to purchase the property and construct a single-family home. This is an overview of your review standards, and we had this similar variance a couple months ago. And just as a reminder, this is a different set of review criteria. It's shown here on the screen as well as outlined in your staff report. With that, I will answer any questions.
Okay, do we have any questions from the board of the city staff? Seeing none, then we will.
hold on,
Oh,
sir.
Hold on.
I do have a question. So in looking at the review standards with standard number 1, where it states that the lot consists of at least one entire lot of record. So the definition of entire, and I don't know if this is a staff or council question, entire lot of record, knowing that it's a non-conforming lot, is a non-conforming lot still considered an entire lot of record?
Yes, and in this instance, yes, Lot 3, this was the original configuration dimensions that was originally platted back in 1914. So it is one single lot.
Thank you.
Yes, Ms. Rich.
Question for the staff, if the variance is granted they would still have to build within the setbacks of a building from the property line, is that correct?
Correct, yes,
If
they would
this
still
was
have to
purchased
follow.
as a separate
Mhm.
property?
Yes, they would still have to follow the R70 setback requirements. For the side setback is probably the one that comes into play here. And
Right.
it's 7.5 feet minimum requirement from the side.
So that we wouldn't be touching the variance for
Correct.
that. We would just be saying if it's buildable or not buildable.
Yeah, and you may have noticed in the application, originally, I believe the applicant thought they needed to request
Right.
that setback, but we had a look at it and they are okay with the 7.5 foot requirement. Mhm.
And the neighbors on either side have not contacted the city either way.
I have not received any calls.
Okay. Any other questions?
She just asked my question.
Okay.
Don't answer this.
So if you would like to give a presentation, sir, this would be your time.
No, I think we covered everything. I was just here in case any questions popped up. Like she just.
Okay, does the board have any questions of the applicant?
First, he hasn't spoken about where he lives or who he is. Don't you have to have that on record?
Yeah, but he's not gonna present, so.
No, that's part of the record as far as the paper record is still part of the record. It doesn't have to be an oral record. It's
That's
all contained.
clarification. I thought you had my name and address on the application. It's J. Mark Janaskas. I live at 487 Riverside Drive in Tarpon Springs.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of the applicant?
Well, I would like to say that it is refreshing that we have an application for someone who is a prospective property owner looking to see what they can do with a piece of property before purchasing the property and then realizing, oh geez.
Correct.
I'm in a bit of a pickle, to say the least. And then they're in front of this board saying, I bought this property, I didn't know, or I looked around and thought everyone else has this garage or shed or what have you. So thank you for your proactive approach to this. So in giving it, as the board knows, I am a fan of small houses and love me an old shotgun style house. So are giving these setbacks and my lack of math skills, 54 minus 15, because that would be the side setbacks. Help me, folks. What is that?
It's about
39.
49?
39.
39 feet.
It's going to be a stretch. I did put a footprint in the presentation package. And again, that's one thing I was asking for, possibly a variance, because I thought it was R100. And then I was wanting to go to R70 with the 7.5. And I figured I could work with that. It's just going to be a deep house,
Right.
narrow house. Yeah.
Mhm.
Sir, have you spoken to the neighbors on either side?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
The property, the home that sits on lots 1 and 2, that just sold.
Oh,
So the previous owner that owned the home then bought the lot 3, making it, common ownership. I know who he is. He knows who I am, but we haven't spoken directly. We've spoken to the realtor. And that's where I said, listen, because, I know how things work in Tarpon. Oh, sure, you can build on that. And I said, listen, let's wait a minute here. Let's push it back, because I was ready to close. And then I did my research and saw that, the common ownership. At first, they were telling me, no, it wasn't, because of the family ownership previous. Even though it was the same last name, it was different family members that owned it,
Hmm.
lot 1, 2, and then a different family member owned lot 3.
Okay.
But when this current owner bought it, he conformed it, and that's why I'm here.
Well, you're going to be the poster child for how to do it right.
Because to clarify, we are here to determine if this is a buildable lot, not whether or not you are building a 39, home with certain setbacks. So, and maybe this is a staff clarification, just for a point of record. If our applicant purchased this, we say we vote, yes, this is a buildable lot. You purchase your property, you get your plans and realize, oh, now I need a foot on the east side or the left side. You would be back in front of this board because we're just determining it is a lot, it is a buildable lot, not a specific size or setbacks on either side.
Yeah, right. I just wanted to clear the hurdle of the common ownership to get it separated.
Okay, appreciate that. Thank you.
So before we go for a motion, I'd like to ask our legal counsel to clarify exactly what criteria we are judging.
So the criteria are listed in the staff report on pages 2 and 3, where it says that this is for variances for non-conforming lots of record. To allow non-conforming lot of record to be built upon, you have to have the lot consist of at least one entire lot of record on the effective date of the code. The lot was not created in violation of a previous zoning ordinance, and the lot was not combined with a neighboring lot under common ownership in order to allow the existing improvements on the neighboring developed lot to meet applicable setbacks. So those are the 3 criteria. Unlike your regular 7 criteria,
Right.
these are the only 3 criteria that you're considering based upon the evidence presented.
Anybody have any questions for legal counsel? If not, we're going to go for a motion.
Well, if we could just for the record, ask for any members of the public wishing to speak either
Yes.
for or against the application.
Correct. Yes, are there any members in the audience to speak for or against? Seeing none?
Via Zoom.
Oh, yep. Do we have any letters or emails, Kim? How about Mr. Jump? Do we have anybody online?
At this time, we do not have anyone in attendance online.
Thank you for that. We will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Rich,
Yes.
Mr. Eisner,
Yes.
Mr. Burris,
Yes.
Ms. Turner,
Yes.
Mr. Obelsky.
Yes. Okay, congratulations, sir.
Thank you. Question, I guess, for staff.
Yes.
I am the applicant. I am not the owner. Now that I have this, I will proceed with closing. Is the variance going to be in the owner's name or will it be in my name as the applicant?
It runs with the land.
So it's going to be in
So-
his name?
Well, the variance is for the property itself, doesn't have anything to do with the ownership.
Oh, okay. So it's.
Yeah, so when when you were ready to go build, we would make sure that it has the approval, which it does, and then you'd be okay.
Okay, so I can proceed with closing because
Mhm.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Okay, very good.
Well done, sir.
Best wishes.
Thank you.
Okay. So now we're moving on to item number 4, approval of minutes. We have,
I'll make a motion to approve.
yeah, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Rich,
Yes.
Mr. Eisner,
Yes.
Mr. Burris,
Yes.
Ms. Turner,
Yes.
Mr. Obelsky.
Yes. Wow. Staff comments.
I
What do
have
we
2
got?
things this time. The first thing, you may have noticed that we left some applications on your, in front of you today. What we've been working on the last couple of months are basically going through our variance applications to better clarify, as well as take some of the comments that we've received at the board to make applicants more aware of how variances are reviewed. So this is just a look at the application, and the biggest thing that we have done is add the actual decision criteria to the application. We are asking applicants to answer those criteria. Granted, you're going to get what they provide, but at least it's reinforcing that this is based off of criteria. So we just wanted to bring that to your attention that we made these adjustments. We made one application for a typical variance, and then we also made a separate one for variances for these non-conforming lot of records too. So you'll see some upcoming variances may have the new application. Some older ones may still be trickling through, but we've transitioned over to this one. And then the second thing I wanted to mention, I don't know if some of you may be aware of this, but not all of you, but we wanted to tell you that we now have a new public engagement site that we put up for the city. It's called Connect Tarpon Springs. I was just going to show you the main homepage right now, just so you guys can see, but this is a way where we can put, oh, of course, I didn't have the right page open. Let's see here. This is a way where we can put projects that the city is engaging in up in front of the public, so you can participate in surveys, polls, ask questions or whatnot. So this is a look at the homepage. These are some of the active projects that we already have on here, where you can click and take some surveys or participate in some initial engagement opportunities. We've put up a couple of pages just about some upcoming items that we're going to be looking at. And then we've added a developer-led project section where for some big items that are coming before the board that the public has interest in, or we can just put some information up on the web so they can easily get some information. So I just wanted to bring this to your attention. It's connecttarponsprings.com. It does require registration to participate. However, it's very quick, couple questions, and it's super helpful. We've had a lot of great feedback already. I know on the Manatee Village project, we've received over 100 comments, which is excellent. So I want to just bring it to your attention if you were not aware.
That's fantastic. I already can envision before you buy in Tarpon Springs and then list this man's story because that's well, hang on. Ms. Rich had a question first, Mr. Rich.
Yeah, it's a great website. I've logged on. The only thing is a password. Now I have to always remember another password.
Yeah, right.
But other than that,
I
it's
wonder if
okay.
it has the remember me
Yes,
checkbox.
thank you. Thank you for adding the remember me.
Yeah.
I forgot my password. On the applications, I noticed on the fees section, you have various fees for newspaper ads and placards and postcards and all that. Are you requiring the applicants to pay for that?
Yes, applicants have to pay for the public noticing cost.
And
Mhm.
so how would an applicant know the total
Mhm.
fee? Because it looks like someone could check,
Right.
one versus all.
Yeah, we help them in that. We total it up for them. Initially, when applicants provide an application to us, they may just pay for the initial variance cost upfront, but we also will give them the total for the advertising as well. So they just work with us.
Okay.
Mhm. We make sure we get it.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know that. I knew they were paying the fee,
Mhm.
probably from the previous form, but I
Yeah.
didn't realize they were having to pay for the postcards and the ads and all that.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Ms. Rich. Mr. Boris, anything?
No, I don't have anything.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Eisner?
So following up with what Ms. Rice just said, why is it like that it has to be chosen, the checkoffs? Because that could be taken as confusing because, it's like a Chinese menu here where you could just check off what you want or what you don't want. There should be one set fee or there shouldn't be any sort of boxes because it gives the impression that you can choose. I may say, I don't want the newspaper ad that's $150. So I can save and just pay the $250, or I'm not following the thought process to this.
So this is really just kind of a checklist for you to know what you need to provide to have a complete application. So if you have all this information, then you have a complete application. I think, Kim, did you want to say something?
Those are actually bullets.
Oh, they're bullets that look like boxes.
Yeah, it does look like boxes.
So those are bullet points?
Yes.
Oh my, I've never seen a bullet point like that.
But really
So-
the intent, I mean, we're not going to process an application that we don't have the proper fees acquired for. But this again is just trying to put out the information. This is what you need to have in order for an application to be considered complete. And it's for, a mental checkbox for the applicants.
So my question
It's not hard
is,
and fast.
could we have like an underline and the sum total on the bottom? So as there is no confusion on that?
I would leave that up to Kim because she's the one that processes that.
Different for every application. If there
Uh-huh.
are 5
Yeah.
applicants, well, no, if you live in an area where there's a lot of houses around you and it's very dense, you're going to have a lot more postcards going out 500 feet around you.
All right.
If you live in an area where you're half on the water, you may only have, a few. So it's not really possible to give them just one single amount.
No, I'm just asking, could there be a line for the total, not the total in there yet? Because I understand it's 77 cents
Fill in
for
the blank.
each postcard, but could you have a subtotal or a total, line that doesn't have a price in it, so that once you're done choosing one from column A and two from column B, you can have a total on there?
We could add a total line in there as well. I don't think we necessarily initially thought of this as a way to track the fees and the amount and the cost. We have other ways to do that. But that's something, and we can add that in to make it clear for the applicants, or instead of having check boxes, we can change those bullet points to be solid, just so it shows these are the items you need, as opposed to, like you said, act as a menu.
Well, if it was bullet points, it would be a lot less misleading. That's I think the real thing with that. And my other question I had for you was this website, is that open to people outside of Tarpon as well?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yes. So part of the registration, one of the questions asks, what is your connection to Tarpon? You can say you live here, you visit, you work, you're a seasonal resident, and we have you choose that. So every time we have feedback provided, we can get numbers on the percentage of people that live in Tarpon Springs, and these are the answers we got. Percentage of people that maybe work, and this is the answers that we received. So we do ask that question, but it is open to anyone in the public.
Well, then I also want to tell you, I thank you and Kim for putting this together, because the less confusion the applicants have, the easier it is for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I want to thank you for that.
Yeah, we definitely wanted to just, really try to reiterate criteria, because sometimes it's hard to understand. And again, someone reading the criteria may have an answer that doesn't necessarily suffice it, but at least puts it in front of them that this is what you're going to be looking at. So that was kind of the goal, and we're
Yeah,
happy
it's
that
a
we
big
have
help.
it.
Big help.
Chair, do you have any questions?
Well, I would just like to echo the sentiments of others. Thank you very much. I think this is going to be a great service for our residents who are looking to submit applications. So it's more of a full disclosure of this is the criteria that is being looked at. So they have the opportunity to present a very clear and thorough application. So thank you very much for this. I know for us, it looks like a, little piece of paper, but I can definitely appreciate there's some, hours behind it. So thank y'all very much. And as Ms. Rich said, I have perused through the Connect Tarpon website. I think it's great. It's very informative. I like reading about the projects that are happening, and I really appreciate seeing the feedback from my, fellow residents. So kudos to y'all for doing that. And I do appreciate that you're looking at seeing who is coming to the site, like Mr. Eisner was saying, because someone who might be a seasonal resident could have a very different perspective than someone who is full-time or maybe, commutes into work. So great job. So
Yeah,
much
we're very
appreciated. And
excited
we
about
will
it.
do our part to share the information with our fellow residents.
Mr. Eisner,
I was going to say, we can't get all our facts from Facebook.
No,
thank goodness.
no, this is.
But we can share the
great.
link on Facebook saying, go to this
Yes,
site.
I will say, if we appreciate that, because we have noticed when we share something on Facebook, we get such a boost in visits to the site, registrations, input. And then when others share the post that they see, I think the Manatee Village one, I haven't checked it recently, but I believe it was shared 10 different times. The day that was posted on Facebook, we had over 1,000 or almost 1,000 site visits, and we got so many registrations, which is great. So share if you see and you like it.
Congratulations.
The Manatee Village
Mhm.
one is, once people know what you're talking about, they're very interested in sharing. But a
Yeah.
lot of people don't associate that name with that location.
Right.
So there's a little bit, unless you've been at the meeting or hear the presentation, when we're sharing it, I've had a lot of people say Manatee Village, like they're thinking like, you mean at the bayou?
Yeah.
It's like, no, a little further down.
The old Winn-Dixie.
The Chinese restaurant.
Yes.
Any,
Thanks, Penny.
anything else from the staff?
Oh, the only thing I wanted to say is next month we have several cases on the docket. So just forewarning you, there's, I believe, 5 variance applications. So,
Good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you for
so we will
that.
have a meeting.
Okay,
So now we go to board comments. Anything, Ms. Rich?
no,
Mr. Boris?
No.
Mr. Eisner
Pleased to be here.
and Vice Chair.
Pleased as well.
It's unanimous then. I guess we are adjourned at 7:25.
Bam, done.
Good to see you, Nick.
Good job, Chair.